Hey guys! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful as always that you guys are listening, subscribing, and commenting on my channel. I appreciate the support. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about being direct or straightforward as an INFJ. I get a lot of messages from INFJs, obviously, and one of the main things that they're always complaining about is the fact that even though everyone around them should know by now that they're extremely straightforward and direct in the way they communicate about things, it still hurts the people around them and causes strife and conflicts and confrontations between them and causes people to be upset and hurt and walk away from INFJs. And I actually look at it from this perspective, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I feel like we need an objective observer to stand back and see from the outside in and tell us what we're doing wrong. And not that I'm an objective observer, but I've been noticing this so much, and I've been messaging these people back the same exact answer every single time. And so I thought that maybe it'd be useful for all of the INFJs to hear this. One of the things that we have to remember about human beings, and I think we know this as INFJs innately, is that human beings are fragile, especially their egos are extremely fragile. And if you're going to be honest with someone about who they are or what they are, you have to really sugarcoat it in a manner where it does not hurt them, because otherwise they're not going to hear it. It's going to be like bombshells on them, and they're just going to ignore it completely. They're going to pretend like you didn't say anything. Not only that, you're probably going to lose that friendship or relationship because that person believes or thinks that you don't have the best interests for them at heart, which is completely false, but that's what it comes across as, right? And so we have to remember that, remember when you yourself were criticized by someone, right? Or criticized in the way, even though they meant to do the best by you, right? They wanted to give you some criticism that will help you grow and expand as a human being. Perhaps they did it in a direct, straightforward manner, in a very honest way, and it hurt you. You were sitting there thinking, wow, this is really hurtful, and I really feel like I wish they had done it in a way where where they just didn't drop it like a bombshell into my heart. But unfortunately or fortunately, I think we end up as INFJs doing exactly the same thing to other people. And I think that's one of the reasons why we get hurt by the straightforwardness of other people, is because we are doing the same thing to other people as well. The things that hurt us are things that are within us already. So my recommendation to all of those individuals who message me saying that is to remember, always keep this in mind. Human beings have fragile egos, and we're always working to protect our egos. It's just the way it is. It's the way of the world. The world that we live in says constantly to us that we're not good enough, we're not this, that, and whatever. And it is our role as a human being to protect ourselves by protecting our ego and telling ourselves soothing things like, you're all right, it's okay, everything's fine. Even though that person said this to you, it's okay, don't worry about it, you're all right, you're good, etc. Right? When an INFJ comes across and says these hurtful things in a straightforward manner, the other person knows that whatever the INFJ is saying is the truth. Because we normally don't say anything unless it's the truth, right? And so people around us know that if we're going to say something, especially hurtful, we thought a lot about it before we actually said it out loud. It doesn't mean that it's still not going to hurt them, right? Just because it's the truth doesn't mean that it's not going to hurt immensely. In fact, I think the truth hurts more than false ideas. And so all of my recommendations comes down to the same thing. Remember that they're fragile and treat them like they are made of glass, right? Treat them like their egos are made of glass. And if you're going to give them any sort of feedback, no matter what it might be, right? It might be positive or negative. Of course, positive feedback is a little bit easier because that person just takes it and is happy about it. And so that's perfect. But if you're going to say something negative, first of all, be extremely careful about it. I try as much as possible not to say anything negative about anyone else, because I really am not the perfect judge of character either, and I'm not perfect in my own way. So why do I have to say anything to anyone else, right? And so I try as much as possible. If I'm going to say something positive, I'll say it out loud. If I'm going to have to say something negative, then I will take my time with it, and I'll really try to formulate a way of saying it that comes across as less hurtful, as much as possible, right? Or I'll avoid it completely. It's my thing that if I have nothing good to say, I just keep my mouth shut. It really is the adage by which I live my life. Because I really do not want to spend my time helping and coddling and taking care of people who I've hurt because of something that I said. And as I said, as an INFJ, you see into the core of that person. You see them so clearly that you can really, if you wanted to, break them down and have them sobbing in front of you because you said something so poignant and so cruel, right? And I've seen this in INFJs that I know as well. It's very easy for us to say cruel things, honest things, but we think we're just being straightforward, and we think that it's going to help the other person, and it will probably help the other person, but it won't help them unless they're able to hear it, right? And as I said, the egos are fragile and they're always protecting themselves. So if something negative comes into the ego shell, what it does is that it shuts down. It stops hearing things. It starts crying, or it starts being emotional, and it doesn't actually culminate or inculcate that information. It ignores it. It pretends like it never heard it because it's protecting itself. And that's what happens with the people that we are being straightforward and direct with. We share something really important for them, really important for their growth and for their development, but because it's done in a way that's extremely harsh and cruel, they don't actually even hear it. So all of the effort that we took in order to learn about this person and to give them this advice is completely useless because they're not even hearing it and they're not able to use it in any shape or form. Of course, we can do it in a different manner, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that everything that you say, especially negative feedback, is going to be taken negatively. If you do it in a proper way, if you use your communication skills, perhaps if you write it down and send them a nice letter, or you do it in a manner where the person is actually able to hear it and actually able to take it in, then that's the only way that's actually going to be useful. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and basically getting rid of all the people in your life because they don't want to be around you anymore because they're hurt by the things that you say, right? And this is what is said to me in the messages that I get, that a lot of these people are being isolated because they are saying things directly and straightforwardly, and the people on the other end are not taking it properly, and they are leaving the relationships, or they're walking away from this INFJ. And thus our loneliness and isolation begins, right? Now you guys might be like, well, they need to become stronger and they need to be tougher and this world is a hard place to live in. Yeah, I get all of that stuff. But you guys also know that it's very hard and traumatic sometimes to get some of this feedback, especially if it's extremely true. And if you guys are saying it, if you're an INFJ and you're saying something, giving some sort of feedback to someone else, you probably know it's actually extremely accurate. It's going to hurt them exactly where it counts, right? It's going to hurt them exactly. It's going to pinpoint that scarry area or that part of them that they really despise already. And it's going to point the finger at it, and they're going to be like, I really didn't want to see this part of myself, but you're making me, or you're forcing me to see it, and I really don't like you for that, right? No one's going to like anyone else for that if they're making us do that. So again, use your empathic skills, use your communication skills, use your writing skills, whatever skills you have as a human being, as a highly sensitive person, and don't let them feel hurt by the feedback that you're giving them. Try as much as possible to phrase it in a manner where you're trying to help them rather than hurt them, right? And it's really important because it is important for us to give feedback to people because we know them so well, and it's going to really amplify and accelerate their growth. So it's important that we don't hold back, right? But it's also important that we don't give them feedback in a way that they're never even going to hear it. So what's the point? You're just speaking to a wall. You're speaking to a blank space, and you're losing friends on top of that. Well, then what's the point, right? So I really recommend that next time, if you guys are thinking about giving feedback to someone or giving them some sort of negative comment, really step back and think about how you can phrase it in a way that will be positive rather than negative. Don't use the sandwich method. I hate the sandwich method where you say something positive and then you say something negative and then you say something positive, so you sandwich the negative thing. I think that doesn't really work. But say something, use your communication skills in a way where you are preempting it. So usually what I will do is that, I will really prepare them for it. So I'll sit down with them and I'll be like, all right, so I have something to say to you, and it might be a little hurtful and it might be a little negative, but I'm really not doing this to hurt you. And I use this sentence all the time. I'm like, I'm not doing this to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. Actually, in fact, love you and want you to be happy and ecstatic and loving life. But I think that this would be really useful for your self-development and growth. And I really want to share this with you, but I want to do it in a way where you don't hate me afterwards, right? And so I will literally say all of this before I tell the person whatever I'm trying to say. And I will make sure that they understand that. And I will sit with them after. And if they're crying or hurt, I will sit with them and I won't run away. I won't run away from the confrontation or the conflict. I will sit with them and I'll make sure that they understand that I'm their friend rather than their enemy, right? And so I really want you guys, I don't like it when INFJs get isolated because we are good people and we are good friends and we're trying to do our level best. I hate hearing stories of people who are like alone because they basically isolated themselves by being honest and direct with people around them. So don't do that to yourself. You know, there is a method to the madness. You have to follow a certain way of doing it so that you don't hurt the other person, you help them, and you still hold on to that relationship that you have with them. Okay? I hope this makes sense to you guys. I know that this might not be applicable to every one of you guys. Perhaps some of you are not really that direct or that you know how to communicate with people. But I was just getting so many messages about it that I really wanted to share this with you. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, please email me. Do not message me on Facebook or Instagram about questions because it's not private and I don't like answering questions there. I want to do an email conversation. So email me if you have any questions. And if you guys are interested in supporting me, my Patreon link is in the description below as well. So you can donate $1 a month, $3 a month, whatever you prefer in order to keep me going on this journey of sharing myself with you. Again, thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.